Trent Williams is not going to play. And because before no one really knew. And Brock Purdy not going to play. Because I don't think anybody really knew if he was going to. And Bosa, I think we had already knew that he wasn't going to.
That we felt like was going to be a problem all week long.
Yeah.
But they still have McCaffrey, still got Debo, still got weapons, still got Kittle, still got Juszczyk. This is a loaded 49ers team.
I agree with you. And then there were the outside noise was, well, the Packers are supposed to win this game. They ought to win this game. They don't. And then when it was out of hand, they were supposed to win this game like that. And what I'm saying to that is not necessarily true. Because didn't we beat a couple teams with a backup quarterback? Because it can happen, you know. The Green Bay Packers were playing a 49ers team that have absolutely dominated them over the years. Now, during the regular season, we've kind of beaten them, but, I mean, we can go all the way back to Kaepernick, can't we?
Oh, they've been a postseason thorn in the Packers' side for
how long?
2 decades.
Thank you. I mean, I still see Eric Walden chasing Kaepernick down the sideline, right? Don't matter who they had at quarterback, it felt like we still couldn't compete. All the Harbaugh Bowls tonight, though, but they had always very good teams, and it felt like when we needed to beat them to get to the next round of playoffs or to go to the Super Bowl, we weren't able to do it. So I don't care who they had out there. We just needed to beat them. And we need to beat them in the worst way. And I think Matt LaFleur and his staff, Greg, I thought they came up with a great game plan. I mean, the run game was absolutely magnificent. I think there were some new design plays that they had. They even had the wing T a little bit formation.
I was going to ask you about that a little bit. 2 running back sets, which I thought was interesting.
The wing T formation, a little motion on the wing T with the tight end craft, then had him fold back inside and kick out the end. I mean, he did a lot of things creative. Did the extra lineman. Shanahan used to do that with the extra lineman. Brought in the extra lineman. He had just a great game plan. And then defensively, they play different, though, without Jair. I don't know if you know. When Jair's not there, it feels like to me they play more zone.
I think you're right on that. And you could almost see that going in. Now, this is a little different zone than when Joe Barry was the defensive coordinator, and they're playing Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, and he has a career day because all Joe did was sit in zone and allow 15-yard completions in front of his defensive backs. Packers defensive backs are a little stickier than that.
I like that word.
But you're right in saying that without Jair and a backup quarterback, maybe it's like, well, we feel pretty comfortable. And even without Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings might be the best receiver on that team anyway. And George Kittle's having a Pro Bowl caliber year, maybe first-team All-Pro type of year at tight end. Right, they're still dudes. And Christian McCaffrey is still a dude. Debo's still a dude. What impressed me, though, Gary, is that defensively, none of those dudes had a dude day. Right? Like, is somebody surely out of that group is going to have a day. And I don't think that's all because of the quarterback. I could be misspoken in that, but nobody had a day for San Francisco, really, on any side of the ball. Fred Varnett, nobody had a day.
Right, and that's what you wanted, right? You want to try to stop guys from – and Debo had the kickoff return in the second half.
Yeah,
right?
penalty wiped that out.
Penalty wiped that out. I mean, other than that, that was really about it. The catch, no catch that he had, I think it went through his hands and Xavier McKinney intercepted that ball. So really wasn't a factor at all. And so with all this being said, and then watching the Lions and then watching the Bears and Vikings and then watching the Eagles, I'm trying to gather information and trying to feel where are the Packers, where are they at in all of that? I mean, I see this team every Sunday, of course, or Monday or Thursday or whenever the NFL wants to play these guys. And I'm trying to feel where are they at in all of that? And it feels like all of a sudden the Eagles have found themselves again. I think the Eagles gone away like 2 or 3 times and came back 2 or 3 times, and it seems to be now Saquon Barkley is playing really well, and then all of a sudden I was hoping that Sam Darnold would just go away and beat Sam Darnold, but he's not. And then I was hoping that maybe somehow the Lions would cool off, but they're not. And then you start analyzing the Green Bay Packers, and you still can see how this team, offensively, identity is slowly changing. In that you have, for the first time in a long time, Eddie Lacy, Ahman Green type running back where you can actually give this dude the ball and become more of a physical team than you've ever been.
So what did we learn about the Packers over the last couple of weeks that maybe we didn't know? Was there anything that sort of stood out to you about last night's game that you said, oh, wait a minute? Because you referenced something that caught my attention, and that was the level of physicality in the trenches on both sides of the ball, right? I mean, I've got this image of Lucas Van Ness just picking up Christian McCaffrey and tossing him, right? And I've got this image of Quay Walker and Rashawn Gary just destroying the offensive line and getting to Brandon Allen and forcing a fumble that Allen ultimately recovered. I've got this image of my mind of it taking an absolutely perfect back shoulder throw to George Kittle to elude incredible coverage by Xavier McKinney as a coverage safety. Things the Packers didn't really have as much of last year, and then the run game on top of that. You want to be physical and win in November and December. Running the football travels well. And the things you mentioned about the Packers, about the Eagles, about the Vikings, and about the Lions, all NFC teams, all with playoff hopes, deep run, they can all run the football.
They can.
So I like what you're doing here. I like that you're moving beyond 38-10. I like that you're moving beyond 20-19 over the Bears, right? Because this is the time to do it. This is the time to take inventory of where you fit, right? And it's okay to look at a narrow win and say, all right, well, you got to be better here if you want to go far in the playoffs. Or you can look at yesterday's and say, pure dominance.
Pure.
Right? You are starting to look at things with a how far can this team really go type of conversation, right? This is a very important conversation to have.
Absolutely. It is. Because the Packers, to me, and we've been very fortunate, and I'm just going to say this. You could have someone run your franchise like the New York Giants, for example. And here's what I mean by that. You didn't want to pay Saquon Barkley because you thought there would be too much money for a running back, so he signs with the Eagles. You didn't want to pay a young Xavier McKinney, now who's leading the league, tied for the league in interceptions. And then you say, you know what? I'm going to give all the money to the quarterback. And then all of a sudden, you don't like the quarterback that you gave all the money to, and you cut that quarterback in Daniel Jones. And then all of a sudden, I turn my TV on this morning, and I see the Giants and their players. They're all not happy in that locker room. You could have a franchise like that has been run into the ground, but what you have is a franchise in Brian Gutekunst who has done a great job, which we'll get to a little bit later because I love what you sent over to me today, and I have no idea which way I'm going to go with that. You threw me for a loop with that. But I love the fact that they were able to go sign, right, Josh Jacobs and McKinney, and it feels like those two guys on either side of football have swayed what the Packers organization is all about. Unbelievable. Totally changed the tone of the organization because at one point, really, I'm just being honest, the tone was about 12. And it's totally gone away from that to Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney, now has become year two. Of course, Jordan Love is in there somewhere, but Those two guys right now are the best two players that you have on opposite side of the ball.
Shaping the identity on both sides of the football, no doubt.
That's
We're
pretty good.
Going to check in with Jason Wilde and build on what Gary is referencing here and talking about, because now you're crunch time, right? I mean, now it's 2 games in 5 days. Yeah, we get about that. Back-to-back Thursday games, which is kind of a scheduling anomaly, but it's here for the Green Bay Packers. And ultimately the stretch run with the division title still in sight, but I would say probably not likely to happen. Might get ahead of Minnesota, but I don't think anybody's catching Detroit. That means the Packers would have to travel from start to finish, most likely, in the postseason. Jason Wilde joins us coming up on the other side. Plenty to get to here. Would love to hear from you as well at 800-990-3776. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook. Football Monday from the beautiful Potawatomi Sportsbook.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be. I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry
Are you guys being serious?
turnovers.
You guys can't put 2 and 3
I got it. I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish
I'm
turnovers.
sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Get ready for the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter Stash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Q Myers.
UConn's Gino Auriemma sits on the mountaintop that is NCAA basketball history as the all-time wins leader with 1,217, passing the great Tara Vanderveer after his UConn Huskies routed Farley Dickinson 85-41 on Wednesday evening. His 1,217 wins are the most in NCAA history, women's or men's, for any division. So, what goes along with those 1,217 career wins, you ask? Well, how about 11 national titles, 23 Final Four berths, and 15 in the last 16 seasons, 6 undefeated seasons, and multiple win streaks of 98 and 111 games. But one thing that stands out to me the most about Gino, what separates him from Coach K and Tara Vanderveer, the only other coaches to hit the 1,200 win mark, is that he's done it at one place. He arrived in Storrs, Connecticut in '85 with a 4-year plan. Well, 40 years later, he's still coaching, and he's still winning, and is now the all-time wins leader with 1,217 and counting.
ABC Wednesdays.
Y'all can play all day. We want books. We want paper towels in the classroom. Bet you want raises, too. I'm still waiting on the paper towels.
Abbott Elementary returns with the new season.
We asked the district for more after-school programs. They gave us $50 for class pets instead.
Critics cheer. Abbott Elementary continues to be one of the funniest and most beloved shows on TV.
What y'all doing out there? Taking bribes? Proud of y'all.
Abbott Elementary, Wednesdays, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
The Philadelphia 76ers' disastrous start to the 2024 season took another hit on Wednesday night when Paul George hyperextended his left knee early in the second half of their 117-111 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies and did not return. If this sounds familiar, well, it should. It's the same left knee that Paul George hyperextended in the preseason that forced him to miss 5 games. Their head coach, Nick Nurse, was asked if after the game he could rule out structural damage, and he said, "I think so." But 76ers officials did say further testing would be done. To put it in further context, Wednesday night was the first time this season that PG, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid were all in the starting lineup together, only for it not to see the whole game through. This has been a season where Joel Embiid is on a load management plan. He's been called out in team meetings by Tyrese Maxey, who also has missed time due to hamstring injuries, and Paul George has dealt with multiple knee issues. When you take all that into consideration, their start to the 2024 season, 2-12, makes all the sense in the world. For the ESPN Sports Beat, I'm Q Myers.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Welcome back in at Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Monday, Victory Monday for the Green Bay Packers. They've won 6 of 7. They are still fighting here to stay alive and relevant in the NFC North playoff race, or division race, I should say. They're more than alive here in the playoff race at 8-3. They'd have to travel on the road every step of the way here in the postseason if the playoffs were to begin today, but they do not. However, a very challenging week as the Packers prepare for a Thursday night matchup with the Miami Dolphins. Happy to welcome in ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon, Monday through Friday on ESPN Wisconsin. Hey, Wilde.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing very well here. Where does the coveted Jason Wilde game ball go after yesterday's 38-10 win over the 49ers?
Well, I'm fresh out of game balls because Sydney had probably her best Saturday of basketball this past weekend, so I gave her a game ball. So I'm not giving out any game balls anymore. She gets the only one from me.
You know what? I'm envious of both of you guys. I wish I could do this all over again. Have kids into sports, because that was probably the best time of my life, where I could watch my kids perform in sports. You guys don't know how good you got it.
There's still time, Gary.
What to do? What?
And have another kid.
No, I took care of that, cuz.
All right.
Yeah. I turned the gas.
Oh my gosh.
I turned the gas right off, man. No.
Fair enough. Well, I'm happy to give you my daughter's soccer schedule, and Jason can share the basketball schedule. You can get out there.
Okay.
Grandkids are right around the corner, though, right? Come on.
Yeah, I do. I have 2 boys and 1 girl, so I do enjoy going to the grandkids' games on Saturdays, and it's pretty comical to be a grandfather. Just so you know that, it's very comical. Because you get to watch your kids, and I wonder, like, was that me coaching the kids like that when I was doing that? Because that's what you ask yourself. Do you coach your kids at all, Jason, or no?
I do, yes. We're on our way to basketball practice right now. I did softball. What else have I done, Sid? Oh, I love coaching. Now, I am undeniably a Ted Lasso type. Like, I am, everything's positive. I don't like to yell. I try to pattern kind of my coaching style. Remember when Brad Stevens was the coach at Butler?
Yes.
Like, he never yelled. He never got angry. He was always in control. Now, I don't know if he was able to do that once he took over the Celtics before he went into the GM role, but I just think that yelling is such a wasted emotion. So I love it. I am going to be sad after this year, because then they'll both be in high school and my coaching days will be over. But I do plan on, when they're off at college, I'm going to volunteer in some form or fashion to coach kids that aren't mine, because I'm going to miss it too much. I know it already.
Love that. Absolutely love that.
He's a good dad.
Absolutely love
He's a
that.
great dad.
The coaching job done by Matt LaFleur. Segue.
Segue. Professional
yeah, not bad.
radio announcer delivering a
That's pretty good. 7.5 out of 10, I think. Yeah. Obviously, a very impressive performance by the Packers yesterday, Jason. I'm not surprised that they wanted to lean on the run early on. I think every coach, you get to November, December football, boy, it sounds really good. We got to run the ball. We got to establish the line of scrimmage, all that stuff. Okay, well, easier said than done. But I can't get out of my mind still what Raheem Mostert did to the Packers in the NFC Championship game. So something tells me Matt LaFleur is somewhere smiling a very big smile, knowing what his running game did to that once vaunted 49ers defense.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought this up, Greg, because I actually just filed my story to the State Journal right before we got in the car, and it was really interesting because it's about Josh Jacobs, but more about the production they got from the run game and the idea of leaning on that and leaning into it even more down the stretch. And and again, I don't know, I didn't ask Matt LaFleur about this, but according to Josh Myers, the starting center, he did not think that the game plan was as run-heavy as it turned out to be. But instead, because Josh Jacobs had such success, that third play where he puts the spin move on Jair Brown and goes around him for 18 yards. Like, Josh Myers actually thinks that because they had success early, Matt LaFleur, the play caller, stuck with the run. And I think we all know on this panel, whether it's Mike McCarthy before him or Matt LaFleur now, these offensive-minded coaches, man, they love to talk about how important it is to run the ball. But when it comes to actually calling the plays, they have a heck of a time actually calling the run plays, right? And so that success that they had early, Josh Jacobs had 39 rushing yards on the opening drive alone. And I just think that was so critical to making Matt LaFleur, the play caller, realize, hey, we should stick with this. Because I can't imagine he went into the game, even without Nick Bosa playing, thinking that they were going to be able to run the ball the way they did. The 49ers, since October of 2021, have allowed 2 running backs. Since Jonathan Taylor did it for the Colts in late October, like October 21st of 21. There's only 2 running backs since then that have run for more than 100 yards in a game against them. Aaron Jones in the playoff game last year and Josh Jacobs yesterday. That's it. That's the list. So I doubt that Matt LaFleur went in with that being his plan, and it just ended up working out that way because he had success and he stuck with it, and they ended up running the ball 42 times.
You know what, though, Jason, and they do. I think these offensive coaches, coordinators, the shiny new toy is the new quarterback, and they want to show that off and scheme up all these pass patterns and RPOs and all that. But here's what I feel like. I feel like and it's not necessarily if he's not too careful, but I feel like, to me, this offense has got an opportunity to change or can change right in front of his face, and that it could become a dominant run offense, whereas the identity of this team could change, and that lead more with Jacobs, a physical running back, and play everything off of Josh Jacobs. Because I do know for a fact, if you've got a running back that runs like Jacobs, run over guys, breaking tackles, those offensive linemen, they get a little bit giddy when those types of things happen. Giddy meaning that let's run it and run it more.
Yeah, talking with Myers, talking with Zach Tom yesterday, they both were giddy is the perfect word, too. Now, granted, we're talking about a former running back here on the panel, so there may be a little bit of bias about running the football, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. And certainly Josh Jacobs' running style is part of it too, right? It's this big bruising guy. He talked after the game about, he keeps his house at 65 degrees because he likes it to be cold, and he really likes it to be cold when he's playing because he knows guys don't want to tackle him when it's cold. But let's not sell him short. I talked about that spin move earlier. Not only do guys bounce off of him, but with his ability to cut, he makes people miss. And Zach Tom was talking about how exciting that is. You're right. Mm-hmm. Those guys up front, they love getting after the opposing defense and not having to always backpedal to protect the quarterback. That doesn't matter if you were playing with you back in the day, or if you're Tausch or Bulaga or you're Zach Tom now. They don't all want to spend 45, 50 snaps dropping back in pass protection. But on top of getting after people, the idea that you have a guy behind you that can, if you miss your guy, he can make that guy miss and make up for your mistake. Or if you sustain your block, he may be coming your way even though he's not supposed to because he made a move that they weren't expecting. That is a really exciting thing for these offensive linemen, and there's no doubt that they all are really excited about blocking for Josh Jacobs. And I'll tell you one other thing. I used this as the lead of my story for the State Journal. there's another guy in that locker room that's really excited about Josh Jacobs, Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark told a great story about having to try and tackle him last year in Vegas, and he is so thankful that he doesn't have to do that anymore. That tells you the way Josh Jacobs has impacted this locker room, that he's even got defensive guys super excited for him. And remember, he came in, that is not a tough act to follow in Aaron Jones. They're different types of backs, but Aaron Jones was beloved in that locker room. Like, everybody loved him, and they still do. But Josh Jacobs has come in, and no one is saying, gosh, I really wish we still had Aaron Jones here. He has really won that locker room over with the way he plays and the kind of teammate and leader he is.
Jason, it's kind of a strange week here. We've got back-to-back Thursday games on the horizon, very quick turnaround. Thankfully, no flight for the team. That helps, I would think, a little bit. But how does this week shape up leading into Thursday night's game against Miami?
Yeah, I'm glad you phrased it the way you did, Greg, because it's a weird, basically 12-day span, right? Like, I think this has happened twice in my career. 2007, when they played on Thanksgiving at Detroit and then played the following Thursday in Dallas. Like, both the Packers and the Cowboys played back-to-back Thursdays, because obviously the Cowboys played that Thanksgiving too. And of course, we all remember that Thursday night in Dallas, because that was when Aaron Rodgers went in for an injured Brett Favre. And then it was 2015, the last time the Packers played a home game on Thanksgiving, that they lost to the Bears that year. And then they played the following Thursday again. So it is a strange schedule. You know, Matt LaFleur is not the sleep on the couch in your office type. He doesn't believe in that. But he probably came pretty close to it last night. He was leaving our press conference to immediately break down the film of Packers 49ers and then immediately shift gears to putting together his game plan for the Dolphins. He said that he spent his bye week diving headfirst into all the Dolphins stuff because he thought that was the best way to use his time instead of, big self-scouts of what had happened in the first half of the season. He decided to use his time to get ready for the Dolphins. So he had some pretty good ideas already on what he wanted to do offensively, but now it was a matter of getting that plan to the guys today at noon, and then they only have really tomorrow to practice, and the rest of it will be just sort of walk-through stuff. So it is a challenge, but it's a challenge for both teams, and as you said, Greg, the Packers' commute is a heck of a lot shorter than the one from South Florida. Agreed.
Now, does Raheem Mostert, is he in the Miami Dolphins?
Oh, yeah. So he was a touchdown party last year.
Yeah.
It's not been the same year for him.
That team basically is all about speed.
Speed, for sure.
It's a track team. They want to push the football down the field. And I don't know if we talked about this, but the availability of Jair would be greatly needed if he were to play. If not, they do what they did this previous game. But where are we at with Jair? Any word on him yet today?
I'm always reluctant to say this so definitively, but based on what he said last week, saying he's got a PCL tear and that 21 days was not enough for him to recover from the Jacksonville game to playing in the Bears game, there's no way in HE double hockey sticks he's playing on Thursday. I don't see that as even a remote possibility. And frankly, Matt LaFleur did say they don't think they have to put him on injured reserve. Okay, but I don't think he's going to play in Detroit either. Like that, if they get him back and he's actually able to play in Detroit on December 5th and doesn't leave after 10 snaps, that's going to be a win. So I don't expect him on Thursday. I don't expect him against Detroit. They play again, I think, on the 15th then in Seattle. And then they've got that Monday night game against the Saints, unless that gets flexed out. I would think that it would be Seattle or the Saints that he would return against. And then you just hope that he's gotten healthy enough that he can stay out there throughout the playoffs.
Game in Seattle could be a potential playoff preview, believe it or not. It's Jason Wilde. Check him out, ESPN of Wisconsin. It's 9 to noon for Wilde and Tausch, Monday through Friday. Wilde, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll check in again next week. Thank you.
All right, fellas. Thanks a lot. Take care. Be good.
Mm-hmm. Jason Wilde joins us every week here on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Want to dive into the run game a little bit more. Is it possible the Packers' run game on a national level is underappreciated because they don't have a running quarterback? We'll dive into it after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Steinhaffel's biggest Black Friday sale ever is happening now. Take $100 off every $14.99. Plus, get a $100 MasterCard for every $14.99 you spend. Or choose Steinhaffel's 0% 60-month financing. Save big on all the best mattress brands. And find amazing Black Friday doorbusters, like a recliner just $199. Sofas starting at only $299. Shop in-store and online at steinhaffels.com. Steinhaffel's Black Friday sale. 1 week only.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Austin here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family-owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, new LED in lighting, electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
It's the week of Thanksgiving, so you're a little busy. Here's something you can check off your list. Holiday shopping at Macy's. Because Black Friday is happening right now. You don't have to wait until Friday to get the season's best savings on the best gifts. You don't even have to wait until the end of this message. Head over to Macy's now and save big. If you go to Macy's.com, you can get your gifts shipped for free when you spend $25 or more. That's one less thing on your to-do list. Exclusions apply. See Macy's.com for details.
Keep the elements out of your home with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
We had howling wind coming through. The rooms were freezing. We were very apprehensive about changing them because we were worried about losing the charm of the home. We went with Pella because we knew that they had an amazing reputation. We knew that they were going to have the windows that would look like they'd been there forever, but with all the functionality that a window should have.
Order today and get no interest and no payments for 12 months. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we offer a wide range of beautiful wood designs for installation within your unique home. Because wood is a natural material, it can be painted, stained, or left natural to complement your unique home decor. Experience nearly endless possibilities from Pella, featuring maximum design flexibility with dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. Order today and get no interest and no payments for 12 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 11/30/2024.
Make plans to spend Thanksgiving night with 81,000 of your closest green and gold friends. Good tickets to Thursday's game are available, and the Ticket King can get you there. Ticket King is your local and most trusted source to buy Green Bay tickets. Get your seats by visiting theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007. Theticketking.com is your one-stop shop to get you to Thursday's game against Miami. Theticketking.com. And make sure you follow Ticket King on Facebook and Instagram.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday continues. Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson with you. I wanted to dive into the Packers' running game a little bit more.
Let's dive in, Greg.
So, on a per-game basis, the Packers are averaging 152 yards rushing a game. Just let that sink in for a second, right? So, if I were to name the top rushing teams in the league, I feel like there's some obvious teams that come to mind. Just off the top of your head, who comes to mind for you?
I'm going to give you 3 teams, and all 3 of these teams didn't have that running back on their team last year. Ravens, Packers, Eagles. Now, I don't know if that's where you're going with it, but those 3 teams got new running backs.
It is.
Of the top rushing teams in the NFL.
So
now,
already,
of course, the Lions are going to be in there because they're out and above everybody.
So you nailed it, right? I mean, you've got listed the top 4 teams here in terms of rushing on a per-game basis in the league. Number 5 is the Commanders.
I did not think of them, yeah.
So you're right. But the Eagles, Ravens, and Commanders, their common trait is good rushing attack, yes, but also buoyed by the quarterback, right? Those quarterbacks are going to run. Not uncommon to see Jalen Hurts have 60 yards rushing. Not uncommon to see Lamar Jackson with 80 to 110 yards rushing. Not uncommon to see Jaden Daniels with 50 to 75 yards rushing. It would be terribly uncommon to see Jordan Love with more than 30.
Absolutely.
It would be even more uncommon to see Jared Goff with more than 7.
Absolutely.
Maybe 12.
Maybe 10.
So what you're getting at here is, rushing attacks that are strong with Saquon and Derrick Henry, right? I mean, it's legit backs. I mean, all Pro Bowl caliber backs.
Who couldn't get paid.
Yes, absolutely.
By the team that they were on.
In great situations with strong rushing attacks, again, buoyed by the quarterback. Packers and Lions don't really have that. Now, the Lions have a two-headed monster that is ridiculous and a coach who legitimately likes to run the football. Mm-hmm. But the Packers with Josh Jacobs are averaging 152 yards per game on the ground. That is 3rd best in the NFL. And there's not a lot of competition for carries.
Give me the first 2, if you can.
It's Eagles, Ravens, Packers in that order.
Wow.
Okay, then Lions, then Commanders.
Lions are behind the Packers?
Yep.
Wow, I would have never thought that. I thought they would have been first.
Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson are both averaging 4.7 yards per carry. And this is the kind of situation that Jacobs is sort of built for. I know he was kind of a warm weather back in terms of where he played in college and where he started his career off.
But that's not his style.
But, I mean, look at the dude, right? I mean, he is built for what we saw yesterday. Mm-hmm. He will pound you. Mm-hmm. He will wiggle you out of a tackle. No doubt about that. His yards after contact, second only to Derrick Henry in the NFL this year. 9th in the NFL in missed tackles. 3rd in the NFL with rushing yards at 944. This is what the Packers do, right? And I don't feel like from a national perspective, near enough credit or recognition is given to how effective the Packers' run game has been. It's always been about Aaron in the passing game. It's always been about Brett in the passing game.
Yes.
Jordan Love last year, 18 touchdowns, 1 pick in the second half of the season. Incredible. But the dudes can run. They can run. And Matt LaFleur committed to it yesterday, and they bullied the 49ers out of Lambeau Field.
Yeah. And I think the telltale sign of the bully was end of the first half when I believe San Francisco scored. They kicked the ball off. I don't know, maybe there was a minute left in the game, Greg, and it looks like Matt LaFleur, okay, we're just going to run this out. And then Josh Jacobs get the ball, I think, 2 consecutive carries. The second carry, he breaks, I think, for 18 or 20 yards, but run through like 3 jokers, right? And then runs out of bounds and stops the clock. And then you're like, oh, we're in business. I think Matt LaFleur went like, oh, we're in business, because I think he thought he was just going to run the clock out. Now, obviously, it kind of fizzles out when Christian Watson drops the sure touchdown and they didn't get what they wanted. But still, that little 3-4 plays was indicative of what that run game could be with only a minute left to go before halftime.
You're right. 1:02 left in the half. It is 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line, and Jacobs goes for 8. Then he goes for 13. All of a sudden, you're at midfield. You're like, well, wait a minute now. Now you got a second. And he had timeouts.
Right,
too.
now
The
you got
Packers
timeouts, yes.
have done a much better job protecting timeouts this year than in years past.
I wonder why.
But as you mentioned, it's 3 deep balls to 3 deep balls, one to Christian Watson that just went off his hands. Couldn't have thrown the ball better. That should have been a touchdown. Glad it didn't bite the Packers. No, I don't think drops are back for Christian Watson. I think it was a drop in a season where we've seen many drops. But to say all of a sudden this is just him now moving forward, I think that's premature.
Well, let me speak on that real quick. It's a bad drop. And let's just be honest. Let's just call it what it is. But let me tell you what that does to the opposing defense. Should he have caught the ball? I think we'll both agree, yes, he should have caught the ball.
He would say the same thing.
And he would say the same thing. But now, the Dolphins seeing it, and now you've got the attention of the 49ers, and they're saying, we got to get back deep, right? We can't let this guy get behind us. So what does that do, Greg? Now you got Tucker Kraft. You've got Romeo Dobbs. Now that opens up the middle of the field much more, even though he dropped that pass, because they know at some point he's going to catch one of those. So now they got to get over the top of that. That still affects how other teams play the Packers or the team that they're playing, even if he drops a ball like that, because now they got to make sure they get over the top of anything that Christian Watson's going to be trying to get a touchdown with longer than 35 yards.
It's why he's such an important part of this team, right?
It all works together.
Of reasons,
all works together, right?
But yes, he's the one who can do that.
He's the one that can do that.
I did not look at the snap count, but it felt like a very quiet day for Dontavian Wicks, and I think the drops have caught up with him a little bit.
What did he do? Well, Jordan Love only threw for like 165 yards.
A quiet day passing.
Yeah,
just in general.
When you've got total yards rushing, if you're going to be doing that, so your time possession is you're going to have a big time possession, but you're not going to be, you're not going to have a lot of passing yards if you're rushing for over 200-300 yards a game. It's just not going to happen. And they put it to the San Francisco 49ers. It felt like to me, and I don't know when the last time we had, maybe Eddie Lacy, I could say, was the last running back that could, if you wanted to, take over a game. I think this should be the Packers' MO moving forward. It should be about Josh Jacobs and then the pass game.
The offensive line, I don't believe, is getting enough credit for being as strong a unit as it's been. The pressure rate against Rasheed Walker is basically none. You've got Pro Bowl caliber talent in Zach Tom and Elton Jenkins. They've done the job. And the running that we saw, and you alluded to this early on, and it's why I thought running was a bigger part of the game plan leading up to the game, is that I just saw things that I've never seen before. It was Chris Brooks and it was Josh Jacobs.
Yes.
It wasn't subbing in for the other guy. They were both on the field at the same time.
Right.
So if you're a defense, right, how confusing is that when you look up and you see, like, well, wait a minute, this is not fullback running back. They got 2 running backs who can both do a little damage here.
The Packers actually have 3, because Chris Brooks is, I think now he's kind of carved his little way into this running back by committee, although it isn't, but it leads with Josh Jacobs. And you've got Emmanuel Wilson, who's played very well, was hurt a lot last year. So they've got 3 guys that are very different, but are very effective. And if you're Matt LaFleur and you're looking at offensive line, Matt LaFleur yesterday designed just some great run plays. Brought in an extra lineman in certain cases to get better blocking angles. Matt LaFleur did to Shanahan what Shanahan normally does to Matt LaFleur in the run game. Very creative. Good stuff.
800-990-3776 if you'd like to join us here. We'll wrap up the hour, I should say, coming up on the other side with our best electrifying play of the game. Plenty of time in hour number 2 to look ahead to the Dolphins. They'll come to Lambeau Field on Thursday. Thursday night football at Lambeau, the first of back-to-back Thursday night games for the Packers. So a bit of a scheduling quirk here and a lot of activity in the final quarter of the season. We're getting close to that point. 6:48 here on ESPN Milwaukee. We're back after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson, the day after reaction show you need in your life.
This offense, Matt LaFleur's side of the ball, dragged this whole team through where they are right now.
It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays with Greg and Gary.
The defense got hot at the right time. That might be what we're seeing here with the Packers defense as well.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday on 94.5 ESPN.
Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive is bringing us all together again to collect toys for children and families in need.
Join Capco and WTMJ for a celebration of giving on December 7th at the Kazmarek Center in Grafton.
This is more than just a toy drive. It's about kids helping kids. We are learning the importance of giving and how that impacts other kids and families all over Wisconsin.
Experience the joy of giving on December 7th.
And don't forget to bring toys.
Help us make a difference this Christmas. Visit kidstoKidstoydrive.com.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
'Tis the season for celebrating, so why not make your holiday gathering unforgettable? Give your team or clients an experience they'll talk about long after the new year with V Private Bar Services. Forget the same old office party. With custom cocktails tailored to your brand and a top-notch mixologist team, V Private Bar Services brings the magic of a high-end bar to your event. Make this holiday season extraordinary. Visit vprivatebar.com to book your premier party today. That's vprivatebar.com for your next unforgettable event.
Brighten up your home, workplace, or event with flowers and trust Welke's Milwaukee Florist to be your local florist. Welke's is family-owned and has delivered beauty for customers and businesses for well over 100 years. Join Welke's Flower subscription so your home is always fresh, or discover the benefits of creating a corporate account and leave the work to them. Welke's Milwaukee Florist has locations in Elm Grove and at 56th and North in Milwaukee. Go to welkes.com, that's WELKES.com for more info and to place an order.
Be prepared for power outages with a Generac home standby generator from Adams. Storms are unpredictable, and when the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. With a Generac generator, your power will be automatically restored whether you're home or away. Rated Wisconsin's #1 Generac dealer, Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
All you men, listen up. It's future Mrs. Brust here. I want to tell you about my wonderful experience at Robert Hack Diamonds. My fiance Ben and the team at Robert Hack picked out my dream engagement ring for me, and then I personally worked with their team to pick out the perfect wedding band. Experience what I did at Robert Hack Diamonds. Stop in at their Brookfield or Greenfield location. While you're there, mention ESPN and spend at least $2,000 right now on any of their in-stock jewelry and get a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. It's a deal you can't pass up. If it wasn't for Robert Hack Diamonds and their team of jewelry experts, I wouldn't have trusted my fiance Ben to make the right call. View what they have in stores online at roberthackdiamonds.com and get free diamond stud earrings. All you have to do is mention ESPN at their Brookfield or Greenfield locations when purchasing at least $2,000 of in-stock jewelry. I promise you won't be disappointed.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for the electrifying play of the game.
Intercepted. Quay Walker's got it. Walker's still going. Looking for the end zone. Quay Walker is in. Touchdown.
Presented by Best Electric Service.
Love on third down to the end zone. What a catch. Touchdown. Love to Dobbs.
For over 50 years, no job has been too big or too small for Best Electric Service. Connect with the best and learn more at bestelect.com.
Electrifying play of the game. It happened yesterday at Lambeau Field. One of 3 turnovers forced by the Packers defense.
High throw is picked off. It's McKinney again. blocks, down the sideline he goes, finally knocked out of bounds inside the 25. His 7th of the year, it ties for the league lead, and a huge one for Green Bay.
Kevin Burkhardt with the call on Fox. Xavier McKinney's 7th interception of the season. Kind of bounced off the hands of Deebo Samuel. Felt like a ball he maybe should have caught. Nevertheless, it ended up in the hands of Xavier McKinney. Does he give enough credit for his cover skills and where he is on the field? He's just an everything sort of player here for the Packers defense. That's our best electrifying play of the game. It came at a time when the 49ers were sort of still hanging around, even though it felt like the Packers had dominated that game, Gary. And those turnovers sort of happened in a bunch, it felt like, in the second half especially. But nevertheless, McKinney, with his hands on a football, is not a shock and should not be a shock to anybody. More shocking is that he hadn't had a pick in 2 games. But he had one yesterday.
Because teams are throwing away from him. I mean, and they know, well, not necessarily throwing away from him. They know where he is.
How do you throw away from a safety?
That's what I'm saying. Not necessarily throwing away from him, but they know where he is. And so they know where he is at all times. And I think he's actually their first read. And especially when you don't have Jair Alexander, there's really nobody else back there that I think that other teams really fear than Jair and Xavier McKinney. Now, he's obviously going to be back deep. They chose in this game to put him in some coverage, Xavier McKinney. So we saw them do that a little bit. But for the most part, your read now goes to the safety down to the corner. I mean, you can do it that way, so they always knows where he's at. He's a ball hawk. And anything that's overthrown, and sometimes he sits in those zones or sits in those creases, and you don't necessarily see him, and he was able to get all those picks early, and that's why he went through a dry spell, because now teams come in and go, okay, where's 29? We need to know where he's going to be, and try to scheme away from him.
I don't know that the Packers have had that kind of impactful defensive back since Charles Woodson. In terms of where's that dude? Where is he? Right? You'd be looking around, and I'm talking about secondary, right? I mean, there are years you'd have
that's
to,
the quarterback, right?
You'd have to find Clay, and right? I mean, I get that, but in terms of a member of the secondary, and largely because Woodson would be just wherever on the field, he might be at the line of scrimmage, so you had to find him.
Right. But third and long, if you're the offense, you're saying where's 29?
Got to find him. You've got to find him
first.
I don't know that he gets enough credit for his coverage skills.
Because we haven't seen a lot of it.
That was mixed in yesterday, so how much of that was out of necessity with Jair?
Well, you had to, because if you're looking to try to play a little bit more man, you got to get him involved. And normally when you've got Jair, he normally takes away the number one receiver, and so you don't really have to worry about it. But in this case, when you got a guy that in George Kittle's who can absolutely beat you, you got to figure out how to get your best cover guy, a matchup guy, on George Kittle. And I think we saw him do a lot of different things last night.
Did Quay Walker have his best game in the NFL? We'll talk about that coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. What did we learn about the Packers that we weren't quite certain of over the last couple of weeks? And I want to play a little game with you, Gary, called Would You Rather.
Oh.
We're going to play a little game called Would You Rather. No, this should not take you back to high school or college days when you're sitting around having some cocktails.
This? I would rather watch Lyrical than tap.
Okay. All right. I think you're talking about dance, but I'm not really sure about that. 7 o'clock hour of Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. After this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Austin here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family-owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, new LED in lighting, electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Take the stress out of the holiday season with the Milwaukee Bucks. Get all your shopping done with Bucks deal season offers, featuring great gifts and limited time packages that even Scrooge will love. Score deals for everyone on your list, including yourself, from the Milwaukee Bucks and Pfizer Forum. 'Tis the season for cheer with your favorite deer. After all, there's no place like Pfizer Forum for the holidays. Shop the offers today at bucks.com/deal season.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
Make it 4 in a row for the Bucks and 6 of 7 as they take care of both the Pacers and Hornets at home over the weekend. Starting with group play on Friday night for the NBA Cup, the Bucks get a 129-117 win with a Giannis triple-double. They followed up Saturday night with a 125-119 win over the Hornets. 63 combined points for Dame and Giannis.
Bucks lead is down to 3 again. Dame's got it, top of the arc, fires away from 3, and he hits it, and this time he'll have a chance at a 4-point play. He has been baiting.
Bucks hit the road for another NBA Cup group play game on Tuesday night as they take on the Heat in Miami.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
Gloves looking for Jaden Reed. Not there. Goes back the other way. Sets up a screen. Bouncing off of people and into the end zone. It's Tucker Kraft for the touchdown.
And it's the day after.
High throw is picked off. It's McKinney again. Xavier McKinney blocks. Down the sideline he goes. His 7th of the year.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
Jacobs, no shot. Barreling forward. Touchdown again. Number 3 for Jacobs in Green Bay.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Obviously, they're missing a key part to that defense. 2 starters, actually, and so, but I thought, we did what we had to do.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios, here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
Welcome back in. It's hour number 2 of Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. If you've not been down here, by the way, boy, tonight's a great night to settle in. Maybe a little quieter than usual work week leading up to the holidays. Settle in for a little college basketball tonight. Of course, Monday Night Football, the battle of the Harbaughs here. Jim and John of the Ravens taking on the Chargers. A very interesting game here, by the way, as the Chargers look to keep in the playoff hunt. The Ravens have had a bit of a weird stretch here of games the last couple of weeks, but still certainly a powerful team in the AFC. When they are right, they are certainly right. But a lot of Packers to discuss here. Join us if you'd like here till 8 o'clock at 800-990-3776. A very convincing win for the Packers and a very quick turnaround with the Dolphins coming to town on Thursday. More on how they prepare, Gary, coming up a little later this hour. But I want to go back to both yesterday's game and the week prior, that narrow 1-point win over the Chicago Bears. Looking at those 2 games, anything that you've learned about the Packers that maybe you weren't certain of? And now that we're 11 games into the season, you can look at this team definitively and say, yes, this is X kind of team, or they're deficient here, they're incredible here. Anything you've learned over the last couple of weeks?
I can tell you this, Greg. Here's what I'm unsure of. I'm still unsure of what kind of defense we really have. I just don't. They got a lot of turnovers, yesterday, and they made them. The one that Lucas Van Ness, that sack fumble, wherever that was caused by Lucas Van Ness. It wasn't luck. The one by, what's the cornerback? It came way across the field. And
Keyshawn Nixon. Popped it free on McCaffrey.
That was caused. So they're getting a lot of turnovers. And maybe this team can create a lot of turnovers. But I'm still very unsure. Is it a physical defense? Is it sticky coverage man defense? Or, is it – I'm still unsure. But what I do know is they got 29. When he's right, he's the best there is. 23, if he's playing when he's right, he's one of the top 5 cornerbacks in the league, right? So I do know, but I'm just unsure, can they consistently stop teams when we say, all right, we need a stop right now? I mean the top tier teams. For the offense, I think they're searching. I mean, even if, we just had Jason Wilde on, and Jason says, well, the game plan wasn't really to run the football the way they did. It just kind of happened to that. I think the game plan need to be all the time is run the football the way that they did yesterday. That should be what they do. And then pass off of that. Special teams are starting to come around a little bit on that. That Daniel Wheeling, he's unbelievable. I mean, the punts he had last night was awesome. And he's been punting like that the whole year. And I'm finally coming around on McManus. Maybe we finally, we're past do we have a kicker or not. I think that we do. So there are some things I'm unsure of. I don't know there are some things that I'm sure of just yet with this Packers team. But, I mean, they're in third place in the toughest division in the National Football League. I mean, I can go on record of saying that. And they're trying to keep pace with two teams that feels like that are better than them.
800-990-3776. No, I like how you phrase that because, my follow-up was going to be what is the Packers' kryptonite? What is that one thing? Well, if a team does this, they're just not equipped to stop it. Or, if they end up, down 10 early, they just don't have the offense to get back into it. That's not a thing I think about this team, but you know what I'm getting at. Because we've seen that over the years where the team wasn't great at playing from behind, right? They were built to get ahead and then sack the quarterback. Right. That, you know what I mean? 5-6 years ago, that with Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, that is how they were built.
Yes.
And then the 49ers come along in the NFC Championship game and run for 300 yards and pass the ball, 7 times or whatever, something ridiculous like that. Okay, that did not work in the Packers' favor. But when I look at this team, I see a team that can beat you in the air. They can beat you on the ground, as we've outlined on this program. It used to be that the defense could not prop up the offense if the offense had a bad day. But I don't believe that to be the case anymore. I think it's a legitimate top 10, top 12 defense, which is okay, not great. Turnovers make everything seem a little bit better. But I believe that this defense can prop up the offense if the offense is sluggish. In other words, get off the field on a third down, make a turnover that gets the ball back into your possession. They can do enough if the Packers offense is kind of limping along for a quarter or a half or a game.
So that goes back to that word, right? And what that word we're looking for? Complementary football. And that's what they played last night. And I think that has been Matt LaFleur's biggest slogan that's kind of been out there when he comes in and talks to the media is complementary football. And that's what I think all teams in the NFL want to be, where all three phases then complement one another. And I think that's where they're trying to get to.
Are they more physical at the line of scrimmage? I want to start with offense first than you would have thought at the beginning of the year.
Yes, way more. And I think that's their forte. I think they've got guys up front, starting with Josh Myers, that can absolutely maul you if you give them a chance to. So yeah, they're becoming more physical than I ever thought they'd ever be. But I think that's because of Josh Jacobs. And I know this for a fact. When you get a running back like Josh Jacobs that's running up in there and running over 2-3 dudes, that inspires that offensive line to come off and block even more because they see the hard work that you're putting in. And I think at heart, offensive linemen want to come off and they want to smack you anyway. They don't want to be passive in that pass set the whole time and taking the brunt of the pressure. They want to be the hammer and not the nail. And I think that's what I feel like they're trending towards that. Defensively, are we getting there or no? Am I getting it?
Well, that was kind of the follow-up. Because I think we've seen that at times, but
it's right, at times.
Not enough.
Not enough.
I think is a good way to put it.
Not enough. But you already alluded to it. 7, best game that we've seen out of him.
Let's pivot into that because Quay Walker has been a bit of a punching bag all year, and I think it's become
and that's going to lead it though.
These wild highs and these sort of head scratching lows where you wonder, did he just misdiagnose that play? How did he get swallowed up? And running back went right to the hole. Quay ended up going left where the hole wasn't. There've been things where you watch and say, man, you can't at this point in your career get stuck in that traffic. And then we also see plays of him dropping 15, 20 yards in coverage and running with a wide receiver or a tight end or going side to side, getting ahead of the lineman who is, trying to get to that second level and diagnosing a run play. I don't think it was talked about in the broadcast. You were at the game. I was watching on TV. There was not enough Quay Walker chatter on the broadcast. I thought he was fantastic yesterday. I mean, all over the place.
Just the one interception that he should have had.
Right spot, just didn't make the play. Right? Mm-hmm. Kind of stone hands, sort of fought it. Mm-hmm. But that proves my earlier point of 10, 15 yards in the middle of the field. He seems to operate really well in that space. Mm-hmm. And he kind of reacted to the quarterback, made a quick break, almost looked like he was the receiver on that play, and just, didn't come up with the ball. Kind of a stone-handed sort of play. But Quay, side to side, Quay blitzing on occasion, Quay in coverage. Watch the tape back. I urge you if you get a chance. He was everywhere yesterday and making more correct reads than not.
Correct, and that's what you want. That's what you got to have out of that position. And maybe he's settling in and getting used to it. And maybe once you start seeing the stuff over and over again, repeatedly, you start to understand the leverage, because that's what he wasn't playing with, the leverage which you should be playing with at the inside linebacker spot. And leverage could be with your right shoulder, your left shoulder. Angles you should be taking, the steps that should be taking. Once you get enough practice over and over again, maybe you can get used to that. I still think he's an athletic freak. And I still think he could be at one day your best pass rusher if they were to move him on the outside. So there's a lot of talent there that the Green Bay Packers have yet to see, or that we have yet to see. I saw this young man play at Chris County High School. It is a neighboring town to my hometown, Albany, Georgia. He went to his hometown was Cordele, and I saw him play in high school. The guy was absolutely incredible, and he could do everything. And so I know the kind of talent that he has, but sometimes guys just have to figure the game out, let it slow down to recognize your full potential.
I'm anxious to see if there's a build on this game for Quay, because every way he was used yesterday seemed to accentuate one of his strengths.
Yeah.
Right? Coverage, he can run. No doubt about that. At the line of scrimmage as a blitzer, he's violent.
Yeah.
He is violent with his hands. He's not looking for the space. He's okay knocking into somebody with a full head of steam. And sometimes it doesn't work.
Right.
But he's okay doing it. He's not finesse. And I thought his ability to get side to side as a run play was, flushing left or flushing right. Here comes a lineman, eyeballing Quay.
Right.
Quay does a quick step to get ahead of that lineman and then influences the tackle.
Right.
That kind of stuff, that was cool to watch, right? Not in on every one of those plays, but making the right read right there if the tackle weren't already made.
Because otherwise you're doing your job. If it all works together, you're doing your job, then your brother makes the tackle. It's like a chorus line. You all got to be in sync all at the same time. You may not make that play, but you're doing the right things you're supposed to do. Your brother makes the play because you forced him to that side.
800-990-3776 if you'd like to join us here. Coming back on the other side, Pro Football Focus grades, a little game called Would You Rather. We'll get into that. And also the day for Jordan Love. Gary was right on something he said a couple of weeks ago. Explain what that is coming up after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
Right now, they'd be a toss-up with the herd. People just don't know how funny mean you are. Come on. Well, I mean, that's mean, but it's funny, and the funny trumps the mean, and so you laugh.
But there might be some truth to that.
Of course there's some truth to it.
The Homer Hour with Homer, weekdays from 5 to 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
It's your last chance. Menards 11% rebate ends soon. Wrap up those big projects before the holidays. Weatherproof in style with new Mastercraft exterior doors. Customize your kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry. It's time to pick up those new appliances or start your big garage project. Don't miss out. The 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving. Stores closed Thanksgiving Day. 11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See Menards.com for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Discount Liquor Thanksgiving Week is here on 94.5 ESPN. With over 14,000 varieties of beer, liquor, and wine in stock, Discount Liquor has the selection, everyday low prices, expert service, and the convenience of 2 locations. It is the perfect spot to find that drink for your Thanksgiving meal. Stop by 51st and Oklahoma in Milwaukee and in downtown Waukesha at Main and Barstow. Discount Liquor is a locally family-owned and operated business. Happy Thanksgiving from the Discount Liquor family.
Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Santa's back. Back again. Santa's back.
That's not a Christmas song, Dad.
That's true, Sid, but I'm celebrating our ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringles Jingle for Your Kringle contest on Wilde and Tausch, where you could win Kringle for a year. It's back for another year.
Can I enter?
Sure, anyone can. All you have to do is submit your own original jingle to celebrate the holidays and Racine Danish Kringle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll pick the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner will get Kringle for a year. There's only one requirement. Make sure you include Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. Or if you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with the Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new Holiday Stick Sampler.
Sweet dreams of holiday Kringle, Mary Berry and apple, and lots of icing too.
Sid, what are you doing?
I'm working on my jingle. Kringle, I love you.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey folks, it's time for me to talk about my good friends over at Best Electric Service, an A+ Better Business Bureau, family owned and operated, who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, installing your new Briggs & Stratton generator, or electric vehicle charging, which my good friend Greg Matzik can attest to that, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work right now. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com. Greg, I just had Best Electric out to my house.
What'd they do, Gary?
Last week. I put the ring cams in. They came out.
Is that right?
Put a couple ring cams in. And one right there in the front door and one right there in the back door. And now I can watch my dogs when they're out in the back 40 out there. I can see what they're doing. And I can see all the deer come through the backyard, through the path I got back there. And it's a pretty good deal. And, of course, you know, I guess most importantly, I can see who's coming to my front door if you are a human being.
Best Electric did some work at our house a couple of weeks ago. They knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, those are great people.
You got to have a trusted electrician.
No job is too big or too
age.
small. That's
No.
what they say. You had the electric vehicle charge. I just had the ring cam.
Now I just need the vehicle.
Boom, boom.
Welcome back in. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. We're at the beautiful Potawatomi Sportsbook here. Monday Night Football is underway here. So you got the Chargers and you got the Ravens.
Got the Harbaugh ball.
The Chargers may fall into that category of, oh, wait a minute now. They're 7-3. Like they sort of catch you by surprise because, I don't know, they're out on the West Coast. But the Harbaugh thing has worked. Created an identity of running the football early. They now pass the ball a little bit more. I think they have a really good quarterback in Justin Herbert. I've always believed in him. Going up against his brother tonight here in the Baltimore Ravens, who it feels like any moment could, put up 40 on you, but they had a head-scratching loss to the Browns recently too. So Hey, this is the time of year.
No, it really is, and I think it's both of these guys to me are very unique, and I think I could have played for Jim or John Harbaugh. I mean, I don't think John gets enough credit for, and I just think he's an absolute genius when we start talking about football players and coaching football players. And what I mean by that is that, like, you're on that level. He's not trying to talk over the top of them to make them understand the game. I mean, he's right at the level of them, and that's why he came in with the Chargers and just kind of changed everything that was about them. They were a team that always lost games. They were a team that had a lot of talent but underachieved all the time. They got rid of most of the guys that were great, and he came in, drafted linemen, got a running back. We're going to run it first, play action pass off that. We're going to play tough and physical defense. And he's done a great job with the Chargers in his first year.
Yeah, so two teams with an eye on the postseason here tonight. You'll have two teams with an eye on the postseason in Green Bay on Thursday when the Packers take on the Dolphins. Dolphins need some help. Right now they are on the outside of the playoff picture looking in, needing every win possible. As Max Meyerson, our producer, looks for a little music bed for our upcoming game of Would You Rather. Good luck, Max. We trust you immensely. I want to go through the Pro Football Focus grades of the week here for the Packers. Top 5 graded Packers after yesterday's win over the 49ers in reverse order from 5 to 1, kind of a blend of offense and defense. Keyshawn Nixon, number 5, Javon Bullard, the rookie safety, number 4, Josh Jacobs, number 3, Elton Jenkins, number 2, the highest-rated Packer yesterday, Quay Walker, scoring a 91.5 out of 100 as we outlined. You wanted to double back on Keyshawn Nixon. I think he's found a little something here. At the beginning of the season, I was a little worried. Every time I saw him in coverage, I felt like it was not a good situation for the Packers. Not for lack of effort or anything like that, just it's maybe not up to the task to cover among the best wide receivers in the NFL, sort of that return specialist who we also need to use on defense. Well, very clearly, Jeff Hafley views him in a much higher light as his snap count is increased. Also, injuries to Jair Alexander. Eric Stokes isn't playing quite as much here. So Keyshawn Nixon, where is he best when used on defense, right? If he's got to be your sticky number 1 or number 2 corner, you might be in trouble. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have a spot on this defense with regular.
Keyshawn Nixon, he's unpredictable. I'm going to say that about it. He'll fight you. You want to fight. I like a dude like that. I don't mean in a bad way. If you're playing football, you like a dude that want to fight. And I think very underrated at what he does, because you thought he was a return specialist, and that's why Bisaccia brought him in. But I think he can play the slot. He can play outside. He's fast. He can cover. At times, he can be unpredictable, too. And but I think you see him all the time giving you maximum effort. Even when he screws up, he's giving you maximum effort. I mean, even when you were taught playing any kind of ball when you were little, I remember all my coaches always saying, 100 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. He goes, I don't care if you make a mistake, long as you're going full speed. And that's Keyshawn Nixon. He is going full speed all the time, so you have to take the good with the bad with him. I mean, indicative of the fumble, I mean, he came way from the other side of the field to cause that fumble.
Great play.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And when you're in Little League, what do you tell all your kids when you're in Little League football? Rally to the ball. Rally to the ball. I want 11 hats to the ball. 11 hats. It's ingrained to you. And you start positive about that defense. When I saw you ask me about it, I said I was unsure. What I'm seeing now from this defense, if you go stop the frame now of this defense, you see hats to the ball. And what I mean by hats to the ball? Helmets to the ball. You've seen a lot of helmets to the ball, and that's why they're getting all these doggone turnovers, because they're getting it in there, they're knocking the ball out, and then you got 10 hats to the ball, 11 hats to the ball. They've got more than you, so they're going to get the turnover.
Just 2 missed tackles for the Packers yesterday as well. A pretty good number, I think, overall. All right, Max, fire up the music here for a little game that we've never played on this program. It's called Would You Rather. Oh. Take it away, Max. Fire away. Kind of had a feeling this was the music he was going to pick. We might also hear this for Power Rankings coming up later. All right, Gary, it's a little game called Would You Rather. I present a scenario. You tell me if you'd rather have scenario A or B.
Okay.
I think that's how it'll work. All right, let's give this a shot. Would you rather have a clear-cut number one wide receiver or a collection of 2s and 3s?
I would say the clear-cut number one wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers is Deebo Samuels. I think he's making about $25-30 million a year. And we got about 4 or 5 guys that are making what?
8 combined?
Give me the 5 receivers that's making 8 combined.
Is that an accurate way of looking at it, though? If somebody were to say, if you were to hop on a sports radio talk show in Miami, and they say, Gary, who's the number one receiver in Green Bay? What's your answer to that question?
They don't have one.
That's it. That's all you'll say? I mean, they got like 8 minutes on the segment.
Okay, fine. You want me to feel? Okay. Well, obviously, they don't have one, but it's about the matchups, Greg, for the Packers, and that's why they don't have one. And if they can move around and do certain and they're not even 100% healthy. Wait till they get Luke Musgrave back, and you're going to see him do some things different than what you see tight end Tucker Kraft. So they're not playing with the full deck yet. So, no, they don't have one. But they've got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things good, not great.
Would you rather have, Gary, a highly efficient quarterback who lacks elite playmaking ability or a quarterback who will play the risk-reward game, make you groan, and give you a lot of those ooh and ah moments as well?
Double-edged sword there, Greg. Give me the high-risk-reward guy, and here's why. Because if I'm a great receiver or a good to above average receiver, you can throw the ball to me in double coverage, and you know out of 50, I'm going to come down with the ball. So you take a chance on me. You just won't be mechanical. Oh, he's double coverage. Don't throw it in that guy because I know. No! Throw it to that receiver because you trust him and you know he's going to get. Sometimes life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get unless you take the chance.
I like the little improv in the ad you did at the end there. But you're right. Jordan Love threw 2 balls that should have been picked off yesterday. That goes back to a point you made earlier in the season. There's probably 5 or 6 quarterbacks on your list, maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks on your list, dudes that will give you a chance. You just got to be, and when you have a chance, you have to make the play. The Niners did not make the play. And ball was in their hands a couple of times.
Love and Braden Locke are on the list.
Yeah, Braden Locke. She's somehow on that list.
I'm sorry I didn't want to compare the two, but I just thought maybe
But then he dials up a 60-yard bomb and drops it in a bucket to Christian Watson. Just can't come up with the ball.
Right.
Just incredible pass.
Right.
Incredible pass.
He can throw it, man.
All right, we continue now. Would you rather have one lead back to shoulder the load or a thunder and lightning approach and maybe more of a 60-40 split?
I think in this day and age, you've got to have running back by committee, RBBC. I think you got to have that. And because when you pull that lead back out, I need another guy to go in there and almost be the same as the guy that was in there or give me something. So I prefer to have a running back by committee if I can do it. But I rather in that though, I'd rather have a hierarchy, if you know what I'm saying. I just don't want that one dude that I got to get the ball to 40 times. If I can have 3 guys to get the job done, I prefer to do that.
It's a really interesting discussion because, I think about the committee that they have in Detroit. It's Jahmyr Gibbs and it's David Montgomery.
And they both are different.
They are wildly effective, both of them.
Both are different.
No doubt. And it is, pending the game, but it's not 50-50, but it's relatively close, right?
Yeah.
They're utilized, in similar fashion, game to game. They get their series, they get their moments and the passing game and running the football. The Packers are very clearly leaning on Josh Jacobs in a way they never truly felt comfortable leaning on Aaron Jones. There might have been moments where it's like, well, Aaron Jones had 20 carries here.
Right.
But that's a little bit more... Like, you could see that week to week with Josh Jacobs instead of just a random, well, where'd that come from?
Well, this week, though, Greg, because they play on Thursday, it's going to be interesting to see how much they use him. it's a much more physical game than it's ever been right now than since when I played. And your 4 days is not a whole lot of time for a running back, well, for any of those guys, but more certainly for a running back to recover when you get the ball 26 times a game.
When do you feel like yourself again after playing a football game?
If it's a Sunday game, you're probably coming back around on a Wednesday or Thursday. Probably closer to Thursday, depending on my workload that I got on Sunday.
Okay. So you need time.
You need time to recover. And of course, when I played, and especially when we played the Chicago Bears, it was almost Sunday to Sunday before you felt like you're right. Because certain teams are more physical than others, right? You go play now. If you go in and if you're going to play the Detroit Lions, it's a very physical team. So it takes longer for your body to recover because you know that's what it's going to be like. When I was in college, when we played Michigan and Ohio State, it took longer to recover when we played those two teams because it was going to be much more of a physical game than when we play Indiana of the old Indiana.
Final one. Would you rather have a GM that can't seem to hit a home run with first-round picks but nails more than 60% of his second through fourth rounders?
Give me the GM that nails 60% of his second. He doesn't do too well in third round, does he? I think it's
third round had a bit of a resurgence. But that's been a kind of a sticky one for Goody.
But give me that guy, and not on that, Greg, free agency, right? We don't talk about enough. The Smith brothers you mentioned today. Hey, Quay Walker's gone. Who was the other linebacker they took in the first round of USC? I think both of those guys kind of, not Quay Walker. Clay Matthews is gone.
Oh, Nick Perry back in the day.
Remember, they lost kind of both those guys at the same time, and he followed that up with the Smith brothers, right? And so free agency with Brian Gutekunst have been good in some instances where he's been able to plug and play, and most certainly look at the two guys he got this year and then surround those guys with draft picks.
You know, and I look at the first round picks, and I mean, it's not like they've all been awful from start to finish. Eric Stokes may never be the same after his injury.
Let me just say this, when you draft guys that run a 4.2, 4.1, and that's why you draft them, and then they get hammies, groins, quads, they're never the same. The speed is what makes them special. Then all of a sudden they can't be special with the speed and with all the soft tissue injuries that they had over a period of years, and it just slows them down.
It is interesting to see the collection of talent that Goody has assembled with middle round picks. And I'll even go ahead and say second rounder, right? You think about the Edgerrin Coopers, you think about how many snaps Javon Bullard is playing. He's got a pretty bright future. Evan Williams off to a tremendous start in his rookie season. The collection of wide receivers range anywhere from second round to fifth round to undrafted.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they collectively, they're making $8 million. Yeah. Debo's making 25.
Yeah. The Bo Meltons of the world.
So it's a really interesting discussion. Now you want to have the best of both worlds, and you want to hit on those first round picks. And jury is still out on Lucas Van Ness. Again, it's not lack of effort with him. But he needs to improve, and you think with those raw skills that he has, that he'd likely be able to improve a little faster. That's kind of the idea with a top-flight pick. But the backbone of your roster ends up being, in Green Bay anyway, second through fifth rounders. That is the backbone of your roster.
Because right now, Jordan Morgan is on injury reserve, your first-round pick from this past year. He's played a little bit, but still can't be consistently on the field. Now, we'll see what that pans out to be next year, because it always takes a lineman a couple years to kind of get acclimated. The special ones can do it right away, but it always takes a lineman a couple years before they feel comfortable in the new system that they're in.
When we come back, Gary's top 5, Greg's top 5, best teams currently on the outside of the playoffs looking in, and a potential path here for the Packers once the postseason begins. We'll take a look at it after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Get ready for the moment we've all been waiting
waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter Stash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Austin here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, new LED in lighting, electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it, I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for free when you mention ESPN and purchase at $2,000 of in-stock jewelry? You'll receive a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield or in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Spend at least $2,000 on in-stock jewelry and you get 2-carat diamond studs free. As long as you mention ESPN, your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. Robert Hack Diamonds, RobertHackDiamonds.com, RobertHackDiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
Basketball fans, watch DME Academy on the campus of St. John's Academy in Delafield this weekend in the Battle of the Border. 4 great teams, 2 from Canada. See high-flying Wisconsin recruit Latravian Fenderson, DePaul recruit Cruz McClure, and 6'11 center Big Sheffy. 7 p.m. Friday and 2 p.m. Saturday with preliminary games before each. Youth coaches, bring your team to see elite DME high school basketball at St. John's in Delafield this Friday and Saturday. Free admission.
This is Kevin Van Rossum, president of 3 Tree Marketing. Send gifts to appreciate anyone, anywhere, anytime with a gift of your choice by using our gifting solutions technology. Our team handles it all, from concepting, site creation, as well as production of branded products. Elevate your brand's connection to its consumers by creating the ultimate gifting experience with us. Make the art of gifting effortless for yourself. At 3 Tree Marketing, we chase partners, not orders. Visit 3treemarketing.com to see what we can do for you.
Network Health knows that good health knows no age limit. That's why they offer superior local health plans for individuals of all generations. Whether you're a young professional, a growing family, or enjoying your golden years, plan is designed to meet your unique healthcare needs. For more about Network Health's business, individual, or Medicare Advantage plans, call Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Eric, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Records. Highest scoring team in Marquette history, 84 points per game, 70 years ago. 1954-55, don't ask me why, I'm old, but not that old. At 84 a game, they were good. 24-3, won 22 in a row. Over 100 points in 3 games, a high of 113. Jack Nagel, the coach, Terry Rand, leading scorer and rebounder. 70 years ago, 84 points per game. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Just let me cry a little bit longer. I ain't gonna smile if I don't want to. Hey, man,
Greg Massey, Gary Ellison with you. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Monday.
Potawatomi Sportsbook. Gary, you weren't kidding. You're showing me the work Best Electric did at your house, setting up the door cameras, right? You got dogs walking. Those are your dogs, right?
They're my dogs.
In your yard?
Yeah,
okay.
Dogs. Yeah.
Is there a fence or anything that's keeping them in?
Yeah, they got a fence around the back 40.
Did they have a kennel to stay warm outside?
No.
They're just let out.
They just let out.
Okay.
Just go play.
All right, just get out there.
Because don't your dog come to you and give you the eye, look at you, kind of whimpers a little bit?
He wants to go out?
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
So now we just let them out the back door, and I got about a acre and a quarter back there. We got it fenced in. You just Just stay away from the Skunks.
Okay. Right. Yes. Please. Stay
away
from
the Skunks.
All right, time for power rankings here on the program. Max will fire up some music. We'll get through our top 5. Max, if you can find something a little different, that'd be great. Fire away. What do you got? All right. Well, same music, I guess. That's fine. No big deal. I'll roll with it. This is the
Did
time
you
of the
want
show
something
where,
different, Greg, or what?
where Gary and I go through our top 5 in the NFL. Again, it is time to start taking a look at things with a little bit different of a light.
It really is.
The season has sort of sifted itself to this point. You've got some pretenders. You've got some contenders. You are beyond the trade deadline. You are beyond the halfway point of the season. We are getting to that final quarter of the season. And it's time to separate the real teams from the not-so-real teams. Gary, what do you have in your top 5?
Greg, you're right. It's time to now. I think I was sentimental in my previous top 5s that we've done. I'm going to get down to brass taxes now, and I'm going to give you the straightforward on really what it should be like, and no biases here. At number 5, the Minnesota Vikings. How can you not have the Vikings in your top 5? I mean, I've tried to hold off. Sam Darnold, he's going to turn to Sam Darnold. He's going to start throwing interceptions. He's not going to be. No, he's not, folks. The Vikings are 9-2. I don't feel like it's going to change unless there's an injury to Aaron Jones. And that still could happen, but right now, they're at number 5 for me. At number 4, this team has kind of been in and out all year long of my top 5. It's like they've had a resurgence like 4 or 5 times just in the season on how I feel about them. And that's the Philadelphia Eagles. This Saquon Barkley thing right now, what he rushed for 250 yards the other day, feels like he should be the MVP of the league right now. If I had a vote, I'd vote him as the MVP of the league. They've done Sirianni. I thought he was the worst coach there was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, yelling at people in the stands and all those kind of things, but giving the Eagles at 4. And no one surround the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, another guy. They're playing some really good football in Buffalo, so give me them at 3. And I guess we'll round it out. The Chiefs, right? They just win every single week. I don't know how they do it. But giving the Chiefs at 2, and I think the best team in the league is the Detroit Lions. They're destined. I mean, right, anything can happen, right? But it feels like the Detroit Lions are the team that's going to win the Super Bowl. But can the Green Bay Packers go into Detroit and win? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. But if you ask me to give me my top 5, the rankings on how I think, because right now, this is it, Greg. I mean, what? We're 12, 11 games into it right now? I was going to say something else that was on the football field, but I'm not going to say that phrase. I'm just going to leave it at that. Those are my top 5.
Teams that have damaged their reputation here a little bit over the last few weeks, I would say include the Pittsburgh Steelers, lost to the Browns.
Yes.
Always tough in a division. I get it. It's not that big of a check mark, but Pittsburgh Steelers, they appear to be a little one-dimensional. I'm not sure how far they can go with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields for that matter. I think the Ravens kind of stubbed their toe a little bit too. I think are still a dangerous team. It'll be interesting to see what happens here tonight against the Chargers, a team that would likely be somewhere in your top 10. A new inclusion. I think the Commanders have also stubbed their toe a little bit.
Yes.
You know, they kind of had that game in a couple of different ways against Dallas, and somehow Dallas, with Cooper Rush at quarterback, ended up winning that game on the road yesterday. Again, it's a division matchup. I get it. That's not the kind of game that the Commanders can lose. A team that has grown here to maybe being a fringe top 10 team are the Denver Broncos. Boy, is there a bigger pain-in-the-butt team to face than the Broncos right now?
What is their record?
They just suffocate you on defense. And the quarterback, Bo Nix, is playing as good as any rookie quarterback in the NFL.
What is their record?
7-5?
Someone said something about the Buffalo Bills earlier today, and I'm not... And then they talking about Bo Nix should win the MVP. I'm not.
Well, no, he might get some votes for.
I'm not there with the Buffalo Bills.
He might get some votes for Rookie of the Year. I think Jaden Daniels probably wins that. But the Denver Broncos are 7-5.
Did you see the throw that Caleb Williams made yesterday to Swift on the sideline? I mean, that guy's got Caleb Williams. Y'all can talk about Bo Nix. Y'all can talk about Jaden Daniels all you want. Fine. But that Caleb Williams, that dude can throw. I've only seen a couple dudes that can throw like that. He's one of them.
And that's why he was the number one pick. But the Bears still try and find ways to lose.
Okay, fine.
Just when you think
I'm just talking about individuals.
they're going to get another win and do a solid for the Packers and beat the Minnesota Vikings, they cannot do.
Fine.
My top five is the exact same as yours with one exception.
Not.
With one exception. I have the Buffalo Bills ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm pretty close to putting the Eagles ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
You cannot go to Carolina and almost lose that game.
But
again,
that's them. That's their MO all year,
it's a
right?
different type. So at what point is that, well, they can win close games. It's what they've done all year until you play a team that's actually better than you, and then you get your brains beaten in like the Bills did. The Bills housed the Kansas City Chiefs a couple of weeks ago.
But
you're drinking the Kool-Aid of the Chiefs, and I don't get it.
No one believes the Buffalo Bills can beat the Chiefs like that again. No one believes that.
But they did.
But you don't believe that.
Yes, I do.
No, they won't do that.
I don't believe in the Chiefs.
Yeah, okay.
I believe in one player on the Chiefs.
Who's that?
I believe in Patrick Mahomes.
And that's all you need to, because he uplifts everybody around him.
He does a good job, about as good as anybody.
Yeah,
but you cannot go to Carolina and almost crap your pants.
Well, yeah, you can.
Like that.
A win's a win, Greg. You should know that. Whether I beat you by
starting to look at it
whether I beat you by 5 links or whether I beat you by half a foot, a win's a win.
When we're talking about power rankings and you're looking for anything to separate the top and it's so tight, the fact that the Bills beat the Chiefs also puts the Bills ahead. Doesn't always work that way, but when you're talking about 2 top 5 teams, that ultimately puts the Bills ahead for me.
That's okay.
And the Lions
that's your
are number
top
one.
5. It's not my top 5.
Lions are the best team right now in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't like to say it, but they are.
Yeah, they are.
They are. So the Packers will see them not this Thursday, but next Thursday. In a strange scheduling quirk, it'll be back-to-back Thursday games for the Packers. I want to talk more about the Thursday challenge and facing the Miami Dolphins coming up on the other side. Real quick,
that's a joke.
Here are 6 teams that are currently on the outside of the playoffs looking in. If one of these teams gets in, you tell me who's going to be the most dangerous if they get into the postseason. In the AFC, Dolphins, Bengals, and Colts. In the NFC, I should say, it's Cardinals, Buccaneers, and Rams. AFC, Dolphins, Bengals, Colts. NFC, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Rams. Which of those teams, if they get in, would be most dangerous?
I want to say the Bengals. Because I think if you get Miami, the Dolphins out of Miami in cold weather, be difficult for them. I think the Bengals can go anywhere and play. So I would say the Bengals.
Bengals seem dangerous. Out of the NFC teams, you've got the Cardinals, Buccaneers, and Rams all kind of right there in striking distance, still with legitimate chance to get in, though the Buccaneers are sub 500. Doesn't seem like they are, but they are. Any one of those teams do anything for you?
Buccaneers are banged up, and they need to get healthy. So right now, they really wouldn't do it for me. Who was the other one again now?
Cardinals and Rams.
I don't know. The Cardinals are so weird.
I don't know what to make of them.
They're weird. And the Rams got Puka Nacua, right? And what's the other guy?
Cooper Kupp.
Him too. McVay, although they're out on the West Coast, just feels like that offense that they run travels. I'm going to go with the Rams.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
say you?
Very strange division, the NFC West.
Yeah, it is.
Just when I think one team is going to make a move and sort of seize control, they lose 2 straight.
Yeah.
And then the Cardinals end up on top of the division.
Right.
Well, now
Don't
the
know how
Seahawks are on top of the division. I don't get it.
Yeah. And the 49ers are not out of it.
They're not, record-wise.
Right. Because could there be a scenario where the 49ers win the West, the Packers are the 6th seed or whatever, and then they would have to go? How would that work? And the Packers would have to play the 49ers?
No, the Packers as a wild card would have to likely face a division winner. So then you're talking about maybe a Falcons or something like that.
Oh, that NFC South?
Yeah.
What's over there?
Potentially. It's the Falcons right now, and the Buccaneers are in the mix. Saints aren't really much, and neither is Carolina.
But Saints got hot there a little bit with the new bump coach.
Stubbing their toes, still under 500 here at this point of the game, too. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. But, yes, it's very likely the Packers could go on the road with a far better record for their first playoff game.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it maps out. And the Bears continue to find ways to lose. Coming up on the other side.
I'm trying to figure out you don't like the Chicago Bears or something because you keep.
Oh, it's just comically mismanaged year after year.
Well, yeah.
comically.
Yeah, we know that.
Where you end up matters. A question I did not ask to Jason Wilde, and I wanted
to.
Well,
you asked me.
Where do you think Aaron Rodgers plays next year?
Do you want to talk about that next?
We'll touch on it because that is a disaster.
Let's touch on that next.
Disaster in New York.
Where will Aaron Rodgers be?
All right, we'll do that and look ahead to the Dolphins as we wrap up the program after this.
Sounds good.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Even when you think you know what's going on,
well, all men hate cold water because of shrinkage.
You can never be too sure.
I like how you dropped
Is that what it is?
Like you were just... Thought we were going to get
I'm right.
You're not wrong.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
I did not expect to wrap up today's little episode with the word shrinkage. So,
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Discount Liquor Thanksgiving Week is here on 94.5 ESPN. With over 14,000 varieties of beer, liquor, and wine in stock, Discount Liquor has the selection, everyday low prices, expert service, and the convenience of 2 locations. It is the perfect spot to find that drink for your Thanksgiving meal. Stop by 51st in Oklahoma in Milwaukee and in downtown Waukesha at Main and Barstow. Discount Liquor is a locally family-owned and operated business. Happy Thanksgiving from the Discount Liquor family.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Whether you're about to graduate high school or have been in the workforce for years, it's time to take control of your future. Welcome to Lakeland University, where you call the shots. We use our flexible learning formats to customize your degree path. In person, online, and virtual classes are all available. Lakeland University is designed around you, your goals, your schedule, your future. You can even earn up to 25% of your degree via paid work experiences. Ready to take control of your future? Let us customize an education to fit your needs. Visit lakeland.edu/ESPN to learn more.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Brust and Nortman, and you know I'm watching every snap this football season with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in hand. With over 5 million people playing and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in. Make a play with just $1 or go big. Play their pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You make picks for a pick'em entry and choose if players will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 250 passing yards, or even Travis Kelce under 1.5 touchdowns. You can even win when you lose with Underdog's double flex option. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN, and join me and millions of others and win big. Must be 18 plus in present state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Jets interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich says that Aaron Rodgers will absolutely be the team's starting quarterback on Sunday, where the team takes on the Seahawks coming off the bye week. There was a report from Deanna Rossini of The Athletic a couple of days ago that indicated there's a growing frustration and tension between Rodgers and ownership, and it's even possible that Rodgers would be benched or released before the end of the season. I suppose that still could happen, but for now, Jets interim coach Jeff Ulbrich says Rodgers will be the starting quarterback Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. For those keeping score at home, Tyrod Taylor is the backup quarterback for the New York Jets. Whatever way you shape it up here, Gary, and I tweeted this out a few days ago, and you saw some of the response from the ill-informed.
I retweeted it.
This is one of the most
I thought it was great.
Colossal and embarrassing failures of a situation that I can recall in the last 25 years.
A lot of people don't agree with you.
It's not all Aaron Rodgers, and it's not all the Jets. It's all encompassing. It's the injury. It's the recruitment of players. It's the firing of a head coach. It's the firing of a GM. It's the demotion of an offensive coordinator. It's Rodgers playing GM and getting his guys on the team. Only one is even sort of panned out, and that's Alan Lazard. It's been a failure from the start. Some of it's been Aaron's fault. A lot of it's not been his fault, as per the injury. But whatever you want to put into the hopper here, it's led to this being one of the biggest catastrophic failures of a team that had super high expectations with a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's a disaster.
Let me just say this. I don't know how much time we got. I tell you how bad this Jet, just typifies how bad this Jet organization is. Now, you're not far off here. Guess who they just hired as their new interim general manager for the New York
Mike
Jets?
Tannenbaum?
No.
Isn't he helping?
I believe Phil Savage, who was the GM of the Cleveland Browns when they won anything.
So now you're marrying up two franchises that historically, I'd say in the last 25 years, have little pops, but more mess than good.
That just tell you how bad they are. I mean, listen, Aaron is playing with fire here, and here's why. I would hate for his career to end this way. In a way, Greg, that no one wants him. I would hate for it to end that way, because who would want a 41-year-old quarterback when they're trying to start over? I don't think anybody does. I just don't see how this works out for him. I would just hate to see a first ballot Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers go out where no one really wants him. I think that's what he's putting that's a big deal right now. Who would ever thought Bill Belichick wouldn't be a head coach in this league? That's where he's at. The NFL they'll cut you off just like that, and they don't care who you are.
I have no idea where Aaron's going to play next year. But we can speculate on that in future programs.
We can.
I do want to ask about this Miami Dolphins team coming to coming to Green Bay. They've won 3 in a row, but they've also had 2 3-game losing streaks.
Sure.
Any quarterback not named Tua Tagovailoa has been a mess for the Dolphins. With Tua back, he's completing about 74% of his passes. Not going to run. He's been pretty efficient. He does have weapons. Temperatures in the 20s, roughly, around kickoff, and a team that has speed all over the place.
You want to ask me about it?
What do you think of the matchup? Because in one case, you could say speed is neutralized when it's 20 degrees outside.
It is, Greg, and here's what you want. You want to get up by like 14. And this used to work when we were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day. How much time did I got?
About a minute and a half.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was it the NFC Central back in the day? I forget what it was. And they used to come up to Green Bay always in December. And we get up by 14, and we look over, and it's snowing. And we're used to snow. It's snowing, it's cold. And we see all the Buccaneers, they be doing this, stretching the hamstring out and the quads. And when you get up 14, everything gets a little cold if you're that warm weather team. And you see them over there, they stretching, they just can't get loose. And then when you're up by like 21, the stretching doesn't do it anymore. Then they put the coats on. And when they put the coats on, Greg, Katie by the door, it's over.
That's it.
So they need to get up right away And the more points they're up by, the colder it's going to get. That is a fast break team. They want to throw the football down the field. Tyreek wants to get open and out there somewhere, long way down the field. They got to get up fast, and they can blow them out. But if they let them hang around, they'll get warmer.
For those watching on the live stream, you would have seen Gary stretching his own quads and hamstrings during the final moment of that segment.
Can you see me?
You're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing great. You loose?
Yeah. No,
no, I'm not. Well, the Dolphins have to travel. The Packers have the luxury of at least staying home here on this short week. Should be a good one here. Thursday night football, rounding out your Thanksgiving with the Packers taking on the Miami Dolphins. We are out of time here from Potawatomi Sportsbook. Want to thank Haley, and Jimmy for keeping us on the track here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. For our producer, Max Meyerson, and Gary Ellerson, I'm Greg Matzik. We'll talk to you again next week, hopefully, after another Packers win. Enjoy the rest of your night on ESPN Milwaukee.
Hey, ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Elson here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family-owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too